Welcome back to Mirth Nadir. On the phone with us today, we have Melanie Fiona. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. We want to thank you for appearing on the show. We
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime. We look forward to learning more about you. Why don't you start off? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a singer-songwriter signed to SR from Toronto, Canada, and grew up in Toronto my whole life. My family is West Indian. We're from Guyana, so big up to all my island people, my Caribbean people. Grew up in Toronto, listened to all kinds of music. My dad used to play in a reggae, soca, soul band on the weekends, and music is just always in me. And I got the opportunity to take it south of the border and start working with some A-list producers in the States, and here I am today.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
So born and raised in Toronto. Parlez-vous français?
Petit peu.
Okay.
Petit peu, but let's not take it any further than that, or I might be calling my bluff.
All right. When you were growing up, when did you start to really get into music and want it to be your career and your life?
Well, I think I'd always known that I wanted to do music. I think even before I actually was born, because my mom, she was a boy, and when I was born, and they were like, "You have a beautiful baby girl," I was born clearing my throat like that, and the doctor in the delivery room said, "Oh, it looks like we have a singer or we have a smoker," and then from then, my mom named me Melanie in the light of melody, rather than it just being Melody. And then Fiona was always one of her favorite names. And so from then, music has always been a big part of my life. I think, my mom used to play a lot of records growing up, a lot of Whitney Houston, and I actually couldn't sleep without actually having the music blaring out of a speaker near my crib. And so from then, she knew I had a love for music. And when I was about 3 years old, my dad, who played in the band at the time, he was playing the guitar, The Greatest Love of All. And when the song switched keys to that, that B section, I switched with him, and he was kind of like, "Oh, you can actually sing." And then from there, it was just nonstop. It was just like walking everywhere singing out loud in the mall, singing at school, singing in life. And then in my, when I was in high school, in my senior year, I started working with some producers and writers and some other artists in Toronto. And I got the recording bug, and I fell in love with songwriting and performing, and I just started performing out in local shows that were going on, and I knew, when I got the opportunity to go to the States, absolutely, I was like, well, this is it. This is exactly what I want to do. And so I just kind of packed up all my stuff and went to the States.
Okay, so when you had the opportunity to go to the States, what happened? How did that all occur?
Well, my management, who's based out of LA, one half of my management, she was actually in Toronto, my manager, and she was working with some artists that she had up there, and a mutual friend introduced us, and we had a meeting, and we had gotten to know one another, and she kind of showed me her way of doing business and invited me to come down to the States. And it was a real shock coming from Toronto, because in Toronto it's such a small market, it's a small industry, and everybody kind of knows everybody. So when I got the opportunity to take it south of the border, it was like on a whole other scale with, the actual business of the music industry. And so, it really helped me step my chops up to another level in recording and songwriting and performing and everything. It was just on a higher level, and it really pushed me to work a lot harder to gain recognition and gain respect. So it was a really good experience. It was probably the best thing I ever could have done for my career. And wanting to follow this dream. So it was tough. It was very tough at times, but it's working out right now. So I'm happy.
Interesting. Now I understand Kanye West is a big fan, and you're actually on his Glow in the Dark European portion of his tour.
Yes, it's over now, but I was, and it was amazing. I'm a big fan of Kanye, and it was incredible. Yeah.
How did you two first meet?
Well, my management, I'm managed by Rock Nation, which is Jay Brown, Tata. It's a company with Jay-Z that they have, and they know Kanye, and they took Kanye. Kanye was getting ready to do his tour and was, putting his roster together of who was going to be the opening acts. And my manager Jay went to him and said, there's this artist that we have now, and I'd really like, for you to listen to her. And he took the meeting for me, and Kanye heard the music, and he gave me an opportunity. And the first time I actually met him was when I flew out to London to do the first show, and I was just absolutely grateful. And he was absolutely cool. He is such a cool dude and a fantastic artist performer that I admire so much. So it was also another fantastic learning experience for me. But it was great. I can't wait to get back on tour.
All right, good. We look forward to seeing you.
Yes.
Now, who are some of your musical influences?
Oh, so many.
You can pick
growing so many. I know. How long is this interview? Growing up, being West Indian, I listened to a lot of traditional Caribbean music. So, I always listened to reggae and soca and calypso because of my parents, but also because of my parents, I grew up listening to a lot of soul music. And so, I listened to a lot of Bob Marley. I listened to a lot of Sam Cooke, a lot of Patsy Cline, Gladys Knight. And then growing up in North America, I was privileged enough to be exposed to all different kinds of music, pop, hip hop, R&B. So, just it was just a lot of things, but definitely that old soul that my parents grew up listening to is the thing that I think has struck me the most in everything that I've listened to. I always go back to my old records and listen to those.
Okay.
So,
now you mentioned Patsy Cline. She's a country singer.
She is a country singer, and a lot of people it's the soul of her voice that absolutely, I think, spoke to me growing up listening to her sing songs like "Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely," and like that as sad as a country song as it was the soul of her voice, and my grandmother listened to her as well, so. I love her, and anybody who doesn't know who Patsy Cline is needs to know. She has I just got a whole new CD of hers that was like a double disc, and it was like 30 songs on each CD, and I was like, I didn't even know she had this many songs. So there's always more music to be found.
They need to do their research because we're a fan of her as well. She's good.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Now tell us, where do you draw your inspiration for writing your music?
It really depends. I feel like my inspiration comes from when I listen to music. Sometimes the track will inspire me to really tell a story, and it'll, make me feel a certain way and want to sing about something. And then other times it's really just from life experiences. I feel like, people, no matter how different they are, whether, it's gender, ethnicities, whatever, the one common thing we all have is human emotion. And so we share that. And I just feel like, people want to hear stories that they can relate to. And so I pay attention. I try to, take experiences from things I've been through, take experiences from things I see people around me go through, and, sing songs, whether I've written them or someone's written them for me, that I really feel people can connect to and relate to on a certain level.
Okay, good. Now we're going to kind of segue to the next part of the show. We play a little game called Your First Time. So I ask you a question. You can respond with the answer. It's very harmless, so don't worry.
Okay. Okay, Mom, if there's anything bad, I'm sorry.
No, okay. Here we go. First CD, album, record, or tape you ever bought?
Ooh, first? Wow, that's going to throw back. You know what? It was Brandy.
Okay.
It was Brandy's. Yeah, it was Brandy's debut album. That was the first CD I remember buying off of Columbia House, which is like a mail-to-order CD thing back home in Toronto. So it was Brandy's.
Right. We have Columbia House or BMG over here, too.
There you go, yeah. So that was the first one I bought. I mean, I had people buy things for me, because I was too young, but the first one I ever bought with my own money was Brandy.
Ooh. All right, first concert you ever attended?
Oh, New Kids on the Block. I will never forget that.
Okay. Nice. We're in Toronto?
In Toronto.
Love it. Remember what was that? Do you remember the name of the tour?